Hi, everybody. Hope your nights are going well. Going to be doing some little bit of a recap tonight, and then probably just going to go through a bunch of questions. So it should be fun. Padres off day. I don't know if anyone's been looking at the schedule, but there's about to be like no off days because I hate off days of baseball because I feel like it's such a thing where you want to watch the game every single night. But there's like 2 off days in like the next like month and a half or something ridiculous. So it's going to be pretty exciting, but I don't know. How do you guys feel about this past series? I would say I think this was the most exciting series so far this year. Um, the Padres came back in each game. Now they did blow the Saturday game, but the games were up and down. It was horrific fielding games, especially by the Braves. The Braves were kind of horrendous fielding wise this series, but I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was probably the most entertaining series so far this year.
Yeah, definitely was super fun. A lot of offense. There we go. Okay, a lot of offense. It was so fun to watch. I mean, I've been begging for an offensive series. I've been begging for one. So that was awesome. That was everything I expected and some. So I was very happy to come away with the series win, especially because that Braves team, despite their record, remember this is how they started last year too, and they ended up winning the World Series. Despite their record, we beat them. We beat them. Despite their record, they're still a good team. They are still a good team. They pitched Freed and Wright, and I forgot. Oh, Morton. Morton, I was super surprised because he actually did a damn good job. Morton did a really good job, whereas the first time he came out against us, we smoked him. So, I mean, I was surprised, but when we should have ended up sweeping that team, we should have swept the Braves. It was just unfortunately a bad outing for Steven Wilson. It sucked. I understand. I cleared my head after that game where I was like, okay, he was tired. He's been having to pitch a lot for a rookie reliever. That's a lot of responsibility. It's unfortunate that he's put in this position right now because he's so young, but we don't have any bullpen arms. Like all of our guys are down. I just saw Pierce Johnson. I didn't even know Pierce Johnson's on the 60-day IL. I didn't even know that. I don't think he's coming back. It was an elbow problem. But yeah, man. So we should have swept, but I'm very happy with the way the series ended, especially because yesterday we came out super flat and then we started turning it on and it ended up being a 7-3 ball game by the end of it. So very happy with the result. Also, you brought up the next 42 days, we got 40 games, only 2 days off. And I think some people are kind of mad that Gore and Martinez or that Gore's going to go to the bullpen in specific. Gore's still going to start games. You're going to see Gore still start. This is more of a innings limit. Gore will absolutely start more games. 40 in the next 42. You can probably expect Martinez to see a start in there too. So they're both still going to start a few games in that stretch. But man, it's going to be fantastic seeing them come out of the bullpen. We need those bullpen reinforcements.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm okay with Gore going to the bullpen. I mean, Martinez has been in the league a lot longer. He's older. He knows where his arm's at. He knows how to take care of it a little bit better. He threw, I think, like 170 innings last year in Japan. So we know he's capable of being a little bit of a workhorse, and it makes sense. Gore, these past few years, has dealt with finger blisters. He's dealt with mechanics problems, so it's okay to give him a little bit of a break. And plus, when you throw him in the bullpen, if we make playoffs come playoff times, realistically, you're going to have 3 to 4 guys go. And Mackenzie Gore more than likely isn't going to be that guy. You have Clev, you have Musgrove, you have Darvish, and you have Minaya. And if Minaya pitched like he did against the Braves, it's almost guaranteed it's going to be Manaya's going to be in there somewhere. He just went off. It was ridiculous what he did. And you still have Snell in there. You have legit veteran aces going to be fighting for a playoff rotation spot. And that leaves Gore into the bullpen, which that's fine. We saw how clutch Julio Urias was on the Dodgers for years when he was basically just a bullpen arm or a middle innings reliever. He would come out and, we saw in the World Series against the Rays. He came out and threw a 3-inning save. I mean, if Mackenzie Gore can come out and do that for us in the playoffs, I don't think any of us are going to complain. It's okay. Get him some reps in the bullpen. Let him feel out how it is to be difference between a reliever and a starter. It's a good thing. Hopefully the offense continues. I think Luke Voigt struggled a little bit this series. I know, what is that? Sunday, he went 0 for 5. I think Saturday he didn't do too good either. But at least some of the guys in the outfield are hitting again. Oh, yeah, another 0 for 4 from Voit. Voit is just the outfield came through clutch. Myers hit a few RBIs. Had a few RBIs. Grisham started to hit the ball. He had a few clutch doubles. Kim came in clutch. I mean, all around the offense was pretty good. The catcher started to end. So hopefully they continue this. Hopefully the pitchers continue to do their thing, because if they do, then we won't have to rely on the bullpen as much, as thin as it is over there. So it's a good thing to have.
Hey, first off, Isaac, is Chase's mic tripping out, or is that just me? It might just be me. Okay.
Was it? Oh, my bad.
Okay. So yeah. Anyways, I mean, we bring up Gore in the bullpen. Sorry, I had to get in that real quick. I've been recording on my phone, so it doesn't really work too well. But thinking about Gore in the bullpen, I will say I don't like the idea in terms of I want to see him get starter reps, right? I want to see him become a starter for this team. But if he has an 120 innings limit, sending him down to the minors to just not pitch him is one option. I don't think sending him down to the minors and then have him pitch a little bit there should be an option. And clearly it's not, because they still want him to pitch a little bit, and they're going to do that in the majors. So I don't really have a problem with that either. I think it's honestly a fine move. If he didn't have an innings limit, I don't think that he should have his starting role removed. But considering that it seems like he does, I think it makes a lot of sense. So I am fine with that. But I think that, like, you look at the series, and you brought up Mania was a complete monster. Dude, he was ridiculous. Musgrove looked really good. Like, it's going to be hard for him to not be in the bullpen come playoff time. So I don't have that big of a problem with it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Also, you guys have been watching the same bullpen that we have. The bullpen needs reinforcements badly. So moving Mackenzie Gore to a bullpen role, and I tweeted out, I think it was yesterday, Nabil Chrismat in a setup man role, that maybe? I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about that, but right now, I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in throwing Robert Suarez in a game. I do not have faith in throwing Craig Stammen in a game, like late in the game, I should say. I don't mind him as a middle reliever. That's fine, but I don't want Craig Stammen to be your eighth inning guy. I think that's really bad. I think that is not the guy to put there, because he allows a lot of home runs. And you can very easily put Craig Stammen to a game in the eighth, and it'll flip. I think Luis Garcia and Nabil Chrismat right now are the best two options for that role. And then that opens up a middle relief role, enter Mackenzie Gore. So I definitely like that idea. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the bullpen? How do you think this is going to get fixed? Do you think Mackenzie Gore is going to be a big reason for that, or no?
So Gil actually brought it up earlier, and I actually really like that he brought it up, because, I mean, I heard it today too. I forgot which podcast I was listening to. It actually might have been the Kevin AC. You're kidding. It actually might have been the Kevin AC one. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to block this guy. It actually might have been the Kevin AC one that I was listening to earlier today. Basically what was said was that you might actually see Gore and Martinez in a piggyback role, with, I believe, Gore coming in after Clevenger, Martinez coming in after Snell. This is what we've wanted. This is what us three have talked about. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it with some of you guys in the chat. This is what we wanted. If they do that, basically, both Gore and Martinez are going to help that bullpen immensely. Not only because, obviously they're great pitchers, they're going to come in for 3 or 4 innings and do their thing, but because the bullpen's going to get rest. They're going to be rested. And that's honestly the biggest reason why I like it so much. Now, like I said, you're still going to see Gore get a start. You're still going to see Martinez get a start. Injuries to the rotation is going to be inevitable. So, I mean, they're going to start, especially in these next 42 days, whatever it is. They're going to get some starts. But as of right now, it's important to have both of them maybe piggyback those guys. So that way we don't have to see Steven Wilson get put in these situations where, as a rookie, he has to pitch so many innings. That would be optimal. Same with Suarez. But that's not because Suarez is a rookie. That's because he's just not good. Stammen, like you said, middle reliever role is perfect for him. Taylor Rogers has been pitching too many innings to start the year. So hopefully you can get Gore and Martinez to not only come in relief, but really finish the games. If Clevenger pitches 5 and you have Gore pitch another 4, that's great. If you do that same thing with Snell and Martinez, perfect. Like you're helping out your guys on the bullpen by resting them. So hopefully that's what we see. But if that's not what we see, obviously Gore and Martinez coming out for an inning or two, I mean, it's gonna help the bullpen immensely. It's gonna help one of the worst bullpens in baseball right now immensely.
Yeah, I know you guys keep mentioning how much we need help with the bullpen, so just wanted to pull up a guy that we got rid of. I know he's Isaac's favorite bullpen guy, and about
Video
12
Pagan.
if you haven't seen him, he's kind of balling out. 11.2 innings, 15 strikeouts, a 1.54 ERA. So, I mean, we did get rid of him to get Taylor Rogers, which immense upgrade. I mean, we have a guy that's locked down the ninth inning every single time he's come out. Be it a little scary against Cubs, but he's been ridiculous. We seriously need some help. I mean, I don't know if they're going to just ride with the guys that we have now. I know Gore and Martinez going out there into the bullpen is going to help them. Like you said, you can either do the piggyback or I think you just go 1 or 2 innings and it's going to be great. Unfortunately, Ivan has talked about Lamet just hasn't been the same. It's been ridiculous. For Pomeranz, he's working on rehab assignments. It's been seen him and Motorhome will be back around July. That's kind of been the timeline for them. I haven't really seen anything else. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't get hurt to call up Ray Kerr and give him a shot. I mean, we've only seen maybe 2-3 innings out of him each time he's come up. I mean, he needs some innings. I mean, when you throw 100 miles an hour and has a decent slider as a lefty, you'll make it in the league. So give him a shot. It can't be worse than Suarez or Stammen right now. Luis Garcia I think he has to be the setup guy. I like Nabil Crismatt, and shoot, he was hitting 94 when he came in to be the setup man. I was like, wow, when has Nabil Crismatt ever hit 94? He was kind of throwing hard there. He looked really good, but I've always liked Crismatt in that role where, damn, our starter's gone down really early. We need some guy to give us 4 solid innings, and he's always done that. So I always want to save Crismatt for that. So we really got to look to our minor leagues right now, see what those guys have. Stop pitching Steven Wilson so much. He's going to struggle every time you send him out there on low rest. Give him a few days off. But hey, they'll come around.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have pitched a lot of guys a lot. Steven Wilson, Rogers, Lamet's now down. You guys mentioned that. He wasn't really getting pitched that much. I would like to see a little bit more of Ray Kerr. In terms of Palm and Pierce on the timeline, there hasn't been anything this entire season on Palm, right?
I believe he just started his rehab assignment. I'll find
He's wrong.
something.
I actually just read it today. I forgot when he was supposed to be back. Oh, Chase was typing. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that's me.
He's supposed to be back soon. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be end of June, early July.
Got it. Okay, so that's good.
So as of May 11th, Palmer has regularly been playing catch from 120 feet, but has not yet thrown from a mound. He's eligible to return from the injured list in less than a month, but it's unclear if he'll be immediately ready given where he is at in his recovery at this point. So yeah, I'm guessing July still because the guy's still not thrown off the mound.
Got it. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. In terms of other stuff from the series, I feel like the big thing was Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim is absolutely balled out. He was leading. Okay, I forget what the stat was, but he was leading all shortstops and like an
OPS plus.
Was it OPS plus?
No, it was WRC plus.
That.
Okay. Got it. Well, basically, Kim was leading everyone, and Kim is definitely balled out. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but you definitely need to look at it. Go look at Kim's home and away splits. it's hilarious. I don't think it means anything. I think it's just that it's hard to hit in San Diego early on in the year. And I think that his big games, his like blow up games he's had have just all been on the road. But last year he was a better hitter at home. But it's like he has like an 1100 OPS on the road and like a 400 OPS with like a 100 batting average at home. It's like terrible, like how big the difference is. But overall, I mean, we're definitely gonna be talking about him later this week, so I don't want to get too into like him and Tatis and what to do when he's back because we're gonna have a segment on that later. But in terms of his early performance, I think we were talking about a lot of guys having breakout seasons. We didn't really mention Kim much, but I think that was more because his was more of a breakout year, right? We wanted to see him take that jump from his first year to his second year. He's done that. And I think that we've seen that. I know it's early on, his numbers could die off and stuff, but I think we already see that he looks better against higher velocity. He's driving the baseball. He's still a fantastic fielder. He's had a couple plays where he messed up, but like overall, he's had some great plays. And he has been an extremely valuable player and has absolutely stepped up with Fernando out. So I think we got to give him a ton of praise. He has been awesome. He is without Fernando playing, I gotta say, like, and I love Manny. Manny's amazing to watch, but I feel like Kim is like that energy guy without Tatis because he's always doing something crazy. He had the slide in the home yesterday. He had the big game. I think it also just the nature of playing shortstop too. You're just going to get a bunch of flashy plays, and he does those routinely. But he has been absolutely amazing to watch. So it's been pretty sweet seeing him develop over this from last year into this year because he's a big part of this team right now. So it's been awesome to see.
He absolutely has been a big part of this team right now. He's been fantastic, especially in that Brave series. Um, I mean, I was talking about it with Chase and Matt earlier this week. He had a streak of going like 1 for 21, and then he popped off again. What a fantastic series! This was better than his Pirate series. Now I don't know if the stats back that up. When you're just looking at it from a competition standpoint, who needed to step up or who stepped up in a big time series? Because the Pirates aren't a big time series. But who stepped up in a big time series? The MVP was Ha-Seong Kim. He was the best player in the series. So yeah, he was fantastic. He was super fun to watch, and I mean, hopefully they're gonna be able to find a spot for Bill Gates. We're gonna talk about that in our next episode, in one of our next episodes, and I think it's gonna be a good one because I know a lot of us have different opinions. I think for some of us, it's where's Tatis gonna play when he comes back, and for others, it's where is Kim going to play when Tatis gets back? It's a fair question on both sides. I understand it. So we're going to talk about that soon. But overall, a very productive series from the offense, and it was super exciting. I'm going to check right now where they rank in runs because, I mean, they put up a ton of them this series. And right now, not worried about this offense because it's been great. And I've been super, super surprised by how great this offense has been. And I know there was this little streak against the Marlins where it was like, looks like we are in desperate need of more offense. That Marlins starting rotation is like top 5, top 10 in baseball. They've been fantastic. Pablo Lopez has been insane. Other than that, we've been great. This team has put up a lot of runs. They've put up, I believe, 5+ in many, 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 many games. So offensive Warriors are looking like they might be put to rest, especially when Nando's back.
Isaac, have you seen the home away splits for Kim yet or no?
Dude, I haven't seen them, but now I'm interested.
Okay.
Where are they?
I will tell you them right now. So in 15 games at home, he's hit 111 with a 245 on base and a 178 slugging for a whopping 423 OPS. In 14 games on the road, he's hitting 327 with a 411 on base and a 674 slugging for a 1064 OPS. Oh my God. Well, everyone's kind of not home. It's just kind of the cool weather, the humidity in there, everything. We saw it against the Cubs. There should have been a few balls that went out that they just died at the track. You know, it's just San Diego's a pitcher's park, so it does make sense. Also could do with the baseballs, you know, primetime games, balls have tended to fly out a little bit more, whether or not that is the juice baseballs are being used there and not in other games. I guess we'll see after the season for that, but guys are hitting the ball a lot harder. They're making solid contact. They're seeing pitches a little bit more. They're not striking out as much, unless your name is Luke Voigt. Hosmer is still keeping it up. I mean, we got to tip our caps to him. I thought he was going to fall off again in April. He's still, up there in average, up there and bringing it guys in. He's been really clutch with runners in scoring position. I mean, shout out to Hosmer. I didn't think I'd be saying it this season.
Dude, that's 100% true. And he has made a couple. He does his weird thing where he goes behind first base, which is, it's got to be one of the craziest things I've seen someone do at first base. He's the only player I've ever seen do that. But either way, besides like a couple plays from that, he's made some good plays at first, actually. He's picked the baseball really well early on. His outs above average, a lot of his defensive metrics are significantly better than his tenure in San Diego has been. And then, of course, offensively, he's been extremely clutch. He has been an RBI machine. So, love to see it. Were you guys watching the broadcast where they were interviewing him? Did you guys see the Hosmer in-game interview by any chance? It was hilarious because it was like the shortest in-game interview I've ever seen. He was talking for like a minute because they messed it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the audio messed up, right? He was like, yeah, I can't hear you guys.
But the inning ended so quick. Like, it was a super quick inning. I just thought it was hilarious because I was like, they literally brought Hosmer on for like a minute and a half, and that was it. They asked him like 2 questions, and it was over. But no, I've been super pumped with Hos, so I am happy about that. I see that Devin asked for a Phillies. He asked if we could do a little Phillies preview for that series. So I think the only guy I know that's pitching for the Phillies, and I think he's the only guy scheduled, is Zach Wheeler on Tuesday. Padres have Clev, Snell,
Darvish. Yep.
Okay. So we get to see the third start of Clev, who he has a 5 ERA, but I think he's pitched significantly better than a 5 ERA. And then we get to see Snell, which I don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe could they potentially bring in Martinez after him? Maybe we'll see that. Gore maybe after him. So we don't really know who's going to get sent down yet for that game. But I don't know. How do you guys feel about those three? Because those are the three coming in the weekend after, I would say, the 1, 2, 3. So it's pretty nice. And I mean, Darvish is there too. But, like, it's pretty interesting seeing that you're 4 or 5 right now are Clevenger and Snell, which is pretty crazy.
It's one of the best sights as a Padre fan because our 4 and 5s used to be just bums. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But they're nice. Very happy with it, though. I fully expect Clevenger. I mean, we already talked about the piggyback. I do expect to see Gore and Martinez in some sort of long reliever role this series. But I'm super confident in this series, especially not super confident. I take that back. That Phillies lineup was absurd against the Dodgers. They've been fantastic. They're going crazy right now. I don't know where they place in runs. I actually forgot to check the MLB team statistics for runs, so I'll check them right now. But yeah, man, that Phillies lineup has been so crazy, especially Bryce Harper. I mean, it's like he tore his UCL and just turned into Superman or something because he's just crazy right now. And he's playing to that MVP level that he was last year. The Philadelphia Phillies rank 3rd in runs right now with 172. The Padres rank 7th with 100. Or no, sorry, they're tied for 6th, it looks like. Tied for 5th or 6th with 160 runs. They're tied with the Mets and the Rockies. So, I mean, both offenses have been really good. It's just a matter of our rotation is better. I think they have Zach Wheeler going in the second game, and they have Kyle Gibson going in the third game. So I don't know who's going the first game. Zach Wheeler hasn't had a good start to his season. I don't believe Kyle Gibson has either. So, I mean, I fully expect to take this series. It might be one of those series where the Padres just give up 2 games, but it's natural. It's going to happen this season, especially because that offense in Philly has been great, and they might take advantage of our bullpen. Now, the counter to that is we might take advantage of their bullpen. Their bullpen was abysmal, especially in this last game against the Dodgers where they blew that lead, but their bullpen has not been very good. If I were to check it right now, oh God, please don't make me eat my words. I'll check it right now, but I'm going to see their splits. Their relievers, sorry, just give me 1 sec.
So Kyle Gibson has been just like slightly better than Wheeler. Wheeler has a 4.26. Gibson has a 4.10. Like ever slightly better. And it's still to be decided for the first game for the Phillies.
Yeah, and going back to the bullpen, the Padres right now have the 23rd ranked bullpen with a 4.18 ERA. The Phillies, the 27th ranked bullpen with a 4.38 ERA. So if we think we're having bullpen troubles, this Phillies team's having them more. Not only are they having bullpen troubles, they are having some starting pitching troubles where, I mean, we aren't. So, I mean, the thing going for them is that starting is their starters, is their lineup. So I think we should take this series. I really do. But I don't know, man. It's going to depend on the starting pitching. Hopefully Gore and Martinez come in that piggyback role so we don't have to rely on the bullpen too much.
I think it more relies on whether or not Bryce Harper continues to be Superman after he tore his UCL, because he was ridiculous in that Dodgers series. The PFR DH decides if he ever wants to hit a baseball again and not strike out like 7 times in 2 games. If our outfield continues to do the same thing that they were doing last series, I mean, it was really positive to see them actually hitting. They were hitting with guys in scoring position. They were getting on base. They weren't striking out as much outside of Myers. Myers either hits or strikeouts and then occasionally walks, but we know what we're getting from him. Grisham is finally starting to hit the ball a little harder. I mean, he's hitting some oppo, which I don't think any of us were really expecting, but he was taking the ball a long way. He was making solid contact, and he was coming up clutch. I mean, runners in scoring position. I think he had 2 or 3 hits that scored a couple runs each time. So I think it really depends on that. I got a question for you guys. Realistically, how many innings do you guys see Snell going on Wednesday? I maybe see 5 innings at most.
Go 5. I just think it's all going to depend on their performance, especially because remember, I mean, they let Clevenger go almost 100 pitches in his first start, and I mean, it was only 4 innings, but it all just depends on how he's doing. So if he's pumping, then yeah, you're going to leave him out there for 5. Especially remember, it was a groin injury or adductor, hip. Yeah, cool. Hip. So it was a hip injury. So not an arm injury. I don't really think you have to like have him on a limit. So I think 5 is a good range for him.
Yeah, I feel like 4 or 5. Yeah, not too much. Wait, for Snell, I thought it was knee. Was it hip?
No, Clev had a knee injury at the beginning.
And then it was adductor for Snell.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I did see that. We got a super chat. Let's see what it was. From David. If Gore is going to the bullpen, how will he be used? Well, thank you for the donation, David. I would say like 2 inning stints. That's what my guess would be. Maybe if a guy doesn't go that long, or I'll say 2 or 3 innings would be my guess. Like, say, for instance, Snell, like this week, he comes in, he pitches 4 innings, and they go, okay, well, we'll give Gore till 7th. We'll give him 5th, 6th, 7th. So we'll give him the 3 innings. I think that we might start seeing him like that a little bit. And I also think that we could easily see Nick Martinez in the exact same role that he has, which is kind of like middle relief, but almost like more important because you realize that your starters can't go that long. And you also realize that your bullpen isn't that great. So it's like, it is a middle relief role, but it's like a little bit more, I guess, like, I don't know, you put him in like closer games. Because I feel like typically in middle relief, a lot of guys, it's like you're throwing this guy because it's either a blowout, whichever way. But I feel like those guys would come in and pitch 3 innings in a tie game, for instance. So that's kind of what I would think. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, I think 3 inning stints is what they're going to do with Gore. I mean, I answered right here. I'm echoing. Hold on, wait. There we go. I put, what did I say? I said we believe Gore might piggyback Clevenger. If not, it is more of innings management thing than anything else. It is innings management. So I do think he's going to end up piggybacking Clevenger. I think Clevenger will go 5 innings, 4 innings, whatever it is, and then you'll see Gore come in a 3 inning stint. If we're winning, you're going to see Rogers come in that last inning, and I think that's gonna I think that's a perfect setup. I think it's beautiful. So I do think that's how they're going to use Gore.
I do too, though I kind of want to see him in like high leverage situation. Just throw him out there, maybe 8th inning a couple times just so that he gets used to working out of certain positions. I mean, we lost Tim Hill for a little bit. He's also just been kind of bad, so we really don't have another lefty. So Mackenzie Gore might play a little bit more in the bullpen in 1 to 2 inning stints, especially just got a couple 1 inning stints. Like, okay, go out there in the 7th inning. You'll just pitch the 7th, maybe the 8th. You may see him in a little bit of a Josh Hader's role, except not pitching in the 9th. I think Chris Mott is going to be that guy that goes 3 innings, unless they decide to do the piggyback. But I really don't know how Bob Melvin feels about that. He's never really mentioned anything about that. So I have a question for you guys. So I was looking up at Hosmer's Baseball Savant page, and there's a lot of red. There's a few blues. The biggest concern for me is Eric Hosmer's launch angle is 3.3%. So I'm guessing that means he's going to have a severe decline sooner or later. So how long do you think he keeps up this offensive production?
I think Eric Hosmer is playing the only way Eric Hosmer can play. And I think that we've already seen him ground into a bunch of double plays. Because, Chase, we were talking about this the other day, and you said something, and I swear to God, the next time he came up, he ground into a double play. Like, right after you had mentioned it. Because I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think he's just going to be, like, he's not going to ever be, like, a high launch angle guy. He's going to try to barrel the baseballs. I mean, I think he's going to come down to earth a bit. But I think he's a solid contact hitter, and I don't think his power numbers really changed much when he was trying to adopt the launch angle. I don't know, but that's a thing though. Like, how much of an adoption was there? I don't really know that. So I feel like whatever he's doing now is definitely working significantly better. And if it's like, hey, I have to be somewhat of a deficient player, I'm never gonna have a high launch angle. I'm not really gonna ever be a guy that walks a lot and hits for a lot more power. Like, my power numbers are gonna stay roughly the same, but I can at least hit for a higher average. I think we've seen it pay dividends for the Padres, so I don't really mind too much, but he definitely becomes more susceptible to falling far back down to earth with it. So that's also kind of the other aspect of that, but I don't think we're going to see him change.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, Chase. It's also worth noting his line drive percentage is lower than it's ever been. His fly ball percentage is lower than it's ever been. So in the air in general, it's lower than it's ever been. His percentages at least. But he's hitting the ball hard. He's finding holes. I don't know how long this is going to last, but for right now, I'll take whatever we can get from him because Tatis is gone. Somebody had to step up, right? And of course, he's going to fall down to earth. I think he's going to end up being a 280 hitter, which I would take that from Eric Hosmer every day of the week. 780 OPS, I think would be great. So yeah, he doesn't hit for much power. Worth noting, he actually surprisingly did change some stuff in his I think in his stance. Bob Scanlon was talking about it. I think he opened up his feet or got them a little wider, and then he got his hands up. Either he moved his hands up or he moved them down. That's the only noticeable thing I noticed. But yeah, apparently he did change something about his swing. So whatever he's doing right now is working. It's been fantastic. He's absolutely deserved to stay in that cleanup spot for right now. Of course, I think he's going to fall down to earth. Not being able to hit the ball in there, it's gonna punish you. But as long as he's not, the biggest thing I noticed right now is he's not striking out on that stupid freaking breaking ball in the dirt at his feet anymore. Because that was with 2 strikes, you knew the pitcher was going to throw that to Eric Hosmer, and it was almost a guaranteed strikeout every time. His approach at the plate is better. He changed up his swing. Not to the sense that he's going to hit the ball in the air, but he changed it to where he's actually generating a lot of hard contact right now, and it's working. So as of right now, I'm happy with his production. Do I think it's going to fall off? Yeah, I do. But he's been great. Even defensively, yeah, he still does that stupid thing where he steps behind the bag, and unfortunately, he said he's not going to change that. But he's even doing all right defensively. I think he's doing pretty good. So I've been happy with his production so far.
Don't get me started on the foot behind the bag thing. That one with Cronenworth, he had so much time. He could have set himself up so nicely and not even stretch, and it still would have fell straight into his lap. and then he went behind the bag, and they gave the error to Cronenworth. I think every time you step behind the bag like that, when you could have stepped forward, it should be an error on the first baseman because that was ridiculous. Anyways, moving on to the next topic. I like this question. He would instantly slot in to be our outfielder, like by far. I don't think realistically you can just give up Weathers. I think you have to give up Weathers on something else, but absolutely you would pull the trigger on this deal instantly. Like if they offered that 1-for-1, you don't even need to think about it. It's an okay, let's get this deal done.
What about add in Profar? Does that hurt it?
I don't know if that helps or hurts it. I mean, the Mariners are really good at eyeing their talent. I mean, I prefer not to trade with the Mariners. We saw what happened the last time we traded with the Mariners. It was relatively scarring. I mean, France. Who else was there? Andres Munoz. They just got a ton of good players from us, and they have built a really solid team with like 5 of our guys. So I would prefer to keep it to like 1 or 2 players for Lewis.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, you're gonna have to add an outfielder. So if it's, you could add Kyle Lewis. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I don't know, Chase. You brought up what's Hayes on the Orioles' first name? I don't know him very well. Is it Austin?
Austin Hayes.
People were loving that you were like, hey, is Preller gonna buy high on this guy? And everyone's like, yes, Preller's definitely gonna buy high on this guy. So basically, it's like anyone that's absolutely balling out right now, that's one of those guys we're going to be getting. They will not be a buy low candidate. I'm confident in that. Do you guys feel the same? You think there's any chance that Preller changes his pattern up? Because I don't think he's ever been deadline. Let's buy low on this guy. Never, right? I don't know.
Not that I can think of. I mean, his best buy low candidate, both of them, are Jake Cronenworth, and I don't know if that's a buy low, but I think it is Jake Cronenworth, and absolutely 100% positively Joe Musgrove. That's his best buy low candidate, and he's excelled in those. But in season trades, I can't think of one. Oh my god, dude, I've blocked this guy 2 or 3 times already. But I forgot which one you brought it up. I think it was you, Matt. If we threw Profar or Kim in the trade, is that what you said? Yeah, so I talked to my dad about this. I'm gonna get ripped, but I'm okay with it. Dude, I legit think one of Kim, Crone, or Abrams will get traded. There's too many of them, right? And I mean, yeah, anyone can say it's a bad take, but there's too many of them. Like all of those guys, except for CJ, where are they going to play? I mean, you could put CJ in the outfield, but then it's like he hasn't been taking outfield reps. Kim, I honestly don't think Ha-Seong Kim would be a very good outfielder. He's an amazing infielder, and I think that's where you should keep him. Crone, oh wow, I actually got an I agree. That's kind of surprising. But anyway, the thing with Abrams is that you trade Abrams, you're going to get the most out of Abrams. You're going to get the most capital out of Abrams, trade capital. So I mean, I don't want to trade him. But I'm going through all of them, and I'm trying to say, I'm in favor of trading Abrams over the rest. Kim, with the way he's performing, $7 million is going to be a bargain to any team. And I think throwing him in, you're going to get a lot out of him too. Crone, you might get the same out of Crone than you will out of Abrams because, I mean, Crone only costs like 700, 800K right now for somebody who put up a 4 WAR last year. And I think too many people are counting out Crone right now. I mean, he's had so many plate appearances at bats and games where he's been like a 4+ WAR player. And I think too many people are taking stock into the 100 at bats that he has so far. I'll take the 500 or whatever 100 it is over the 100. So I don't know, man. I really do think it's a possibility one of them gets traded. But for this trade on the screen right here, would you do Weathers for Kyle Lewis? Every single day of the week, I will do that trade because Kyle Lewis is a great outfielder, even though he gets hurt a lot. I don't know if Weathers has a spot in this rotation. I don't know if Weathers is going to be good enough to have a spot in this rotation.
100%. I like it. If the Mariners call you up saying, we want Ryan Weathers, we'll give you Kyle Lewis, you don't even think about it. You just do that trade. I mean, you'd instantly slot to be your best outfielder. Sure, he gets hurt, but he'd still be your best bet. It would be an upgrade defensive, maybe upgrade defensively in center right now, just because Grisham has been a little rough. But so I had a thought, just because you mentioned that one of those guys had to get traded. So as of right now, with the way Voigt's been hitting, I think the lineup should be, when Tatis gets back, would be Machado, Tatis, Kim, Cronenworth, Hosmer at DH. Just because Voigt, realistically, I don't know what's going on with him. He's been a mess. He hit those 2 home runs and we're like, wow, Voigt's gonna come back. He's starting to come back around. And then it just went downhill all over again. So what do you guys think about that? Or do you guys keep giving Voigt chances right now? I mean, you could realistically slot Cronenworth at second, Hosmer. No. Yeah, you kind of have to do that because Abrams isn't here anymore. But realistically, when Tatis gets back, is that what you're doing? Or do you keep slotting Voigt in the DH and putting Hosmer at?
Sorry, my thing went on mute. So I'm thinking that it's going to be like not like a very like cut and dry thing. I think it's going to be, okay, Ha-Seong Kim has earned a lot more playing time. It's a given Fernando's going to, I don't know. I think Fernando's going to be the shortstop, so you're going to have him there. But he's also going to DH a lot when he comes back. Like, he has to. So I think immediately when you look at it, they're going to ease Tatis back, shortstop-wise. And I haven't seen him taking the outfield reps either. So, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more later in the week, but he's going to be a DH a lot at first. So that immediately is going to cut down Voigt's playing time. When he moves back to short or wherever he moves, let's say he even moves to the outfield, you still have 2 other guys playing there. So if Abrams is coming up, whatever the case is, because this isn't like Voigt and Hosmer are on this team for the next couple of years, unless somehow Hosmer opts out of his deal, which is incredibly unlikely, but I don't know. We'll come to that when it gets that time. But this is going to be like a question mark, like a problem. So I think that if Voigt struggles, people are going to fill in his time at DH. And if Haas struggles and Voigt's playing well, then Voigt's going to start playing more first base. So, like, I think that it's going to kind of depend on those 2 guys to see who's going to get first base reps and also who's going to get DH reps. So I think that it's really going to be, like, really performance driven. And I think it's a good thing to have. I think it's a good thing to be like, hey, if you're going to struggle a lot, I think they're going to be patient, but I think it's also going to be like, if you're going to struggle a lot, like, Haas is going to DH sometimes, Fernando's going to DH sometimes. We're going to have to start reducing your playing time. But keep in mind, Voigt also has a lot less at-bats than a lot of these other guys because he was banged up. So, I mean, his numbers from the game before he hit the 2 home runs to after, everything jumped like – his OPS jumped like 200 points. It was ridiculous. And, like, his slugging went up like over 100. So, like, it's still super early on in the year where, like, a couple of good games, all of a sudden he's, like, a solid player. I don't know if – I think it was it Friday's game when basically everyone in like on the bottom of the order came in at like $190 and then they were all over 200. I thought that was hilarious because like all those guys had like 2 hits. So it's still early on in the year, so I think you have to be patient, but I think it'll break down just really based on performance.
Yeah, going back to what I said earlier about, I think one of the middle infielders not named Tatis will get traded. I don't want them to get traded. I think they're all fantastic, and it was said, hopefully not. There will probably be more injuries. Yeah, there's going to be more injuries, and having a deep bench is one of the best things you could have in baseball. To me, it's just, yes, we do need a deep bench. We also need an outfielder. I mean, we haven't even talked about Trent Grisham yet. Oh, Chase did. Chase said that he had a decent series, right? He was getting a couple doubles here and there. Is he the future though? I don't know. He had a decent series, but who knows how that's going to work out? Because even in Pittsburgh, right, when he had those 2 or 3 hits, I think in like 5 at bats, we were all thinking, "Oh man, Trent Grisham might be back," and then he wasn't back. So who knows what's going to happen with Trent Grisham? If one of them can make you a cool outfielder, I think you got to take it into consideration. Abrams, I think, would play fantastic in the outfield. It's just kind of weird that he hasn't taken any outfield reps in AAA that I've heard of. Even like in spring training before, I didn't see him take outfield reps. But in major leagues, he did take outfield reps. So who knows how that's going to work out. McConaughey's a little mad. I see. It's pretty funny. What else? What was I going to talk about? I completely forgot. I was looking at one of these comments. Kim and Grisham. We're not getting Soto.
So Isaac, I was looking at Grisha's stats right now, right? His average went down after the series, even though he got a couple clutch hits. His average still went down. I think he was hitting like 156 or 154 before this series, and he's down at 152. And just to give you, in the last 7 games, he's 2 for 22, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts for a 91 average, a 167 on base, and a 182 slugging. In his last 15, he's hitting 154, 279 on base, and 231 slugging, which was 8 for 52, 7 walks, 16 strikeouts. So I still think we have a very big concern in center field. We still have a very big concern in left field. Not as big of a concern in right field. Myers is actually hitting like 280 within his last 15 games, and his slugging, his OPS would be in the low to mid 700s. So not a big concern there, but center field and left field are still huge question marks on what are we going to do there.
Dude, we were just way too high on Trent Grisham. I think we can officially say that because we thought Trent Grisham would be a building block for this team. And our thing was always like, look, like he doesn't have to be a plus offensive guy, but if he's like average to above average offensively, he's a fantastic player. He has been really bad over a lot of at bats. So I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't know. I feel like we were too high on him, honestly. Sad to say, but I don't know. I'm not like completely giving up on him, but I just don't think he's ever going to be the guy that I kind of thought. Like I thought he would become a really good MLB player, and I'm now hoping he can be like a serviceable center fielder. So the expectations have definitely tempered significantly. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. Isaac, before you go into Trent Grisham a little bit, besides that, I think we'll probably head out in a couple minutes. I don't know. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to discuss real quick before we hop off. But how you feeling about Trent?
I don't know. I don't want to give up, but I do want to give up hope because he had this 2020 and beginning of 2021 that was fantastic. It was really good. Like I was very happy with his results. He was a top of the lineup type guy. He was a Gold Glove caliber center fielder who, I mean, he was consistently producing, and we were very. I mean, it's not just us. All of the Padres fan base, most of the Padres fan base was very, very high on Trent Grisham. Now you're taking that 2020 sample size and the 2021 sample size, combining that. Now you got to combine the end of 2021, where he was pretty horrific, and the beginning of 2022, where he's even more horrific. So like the sample size is balanced out. It's like restarting the drawing board. But as of right now, he's not earning his playing time. Your glove can only help you so much, and his glove hasn't even been that good. I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic. His glove really hasn't been that good. I think the stigma of Trent Grisham's this amazing fielder will tell us like he's always going to be an amazing fielder. But if we're just looking at the hard numbers, outs above average, all that kind of stuff, he hasn't been that good. You know who? Okay, I just got to bring this up real quick. The guy that leads the MLB or is tied for the league lead in the MLB and outs above average, you guys are going to be so surprised. Jurickson Profar. Crazy, right? But yeah, it's been crazy. And I don't know, man. I don't want to give up on Trent Grisham yet because I mean, some of his at-bats have been pretty good. He's put together some solid at-bats, but like he's just not generating any hard contact. Like we looked at his spray chart recently, and it's just quite a few of them are infield singles. So it's very hard to get behind. Like we think he's going to pan out and he's going to have a good season because that's not what he's shown. He hasn't shown that since probably June of last year.
So I see we're talking about Myers in the chat now, and yes, he does have a bad contract, but that is not Myers' fault. That is whoever was in the accounting office that decided, you know what, Myers last year in San Diego, when we're not winning anything right now, he deserves to win $22 million a year. When that's when we're shooting for to be competitive. That I don't know whose idea that was. That was just ridiculous. And even as of right now, Myers right now in his last 15 games, 286, 311, 375, slugging, and in his last 7, 333, 345, 444 slugging. He is our best outfielder by far in the last 15 games. Profar's been better defensively. I mean, Profar's been our best defensive outfielder. He might be like, I think he leads the league in outfield assists. He just all of a sudden has a cannon of an arm this year that is incredibly accurate. But yeah, that's why we're not talking about Myers. You know who we haven't talked about is the guy that we just signed who played yesterday's game, Robinson Cano. When do you guys think he's going to leave? I mean, he didn't really do anything at all. I don't know who to blame for that one run. I think it was yesterday's game where Myers didn't pick up the ball correctly, and then he threw it in, and then Robinson Cano couldn't pick the ball, and it got away from him because it hit his glove funny and then bounced away, and the runner scored. I don't know who to blame for that. I can blame both of them, but I mean, you guys are professionals. You guys need to catch both those balls. It didn't cost us the game, but it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of Myers, I think that Myers, you definitely keep Myers. He's been the best outfielder, and he has an expensive deal, but Chase, you brought it up, man. Like, the reason it's so bad is because of the backloaded deal. But in terms of Cano, I never understood it. I see people talking about two guys. So first guy that I brought up was Eggy Rosario, but then I think it was the Czar. You meant to bring up Esteury Ruiz. Esteury Ruiz has been absolutely balling. I would have rather seen him get a little bit of an opportunity for like a couple weeks as the second baseman or whatever you do, or even Eggy Rosario, than bringing 39-year-old Robinson Cano over. So, Chase, I think it's hilarious that you introduced Robinson Cano by saying, hey, how long do you think until he leaves? That's the introduction of him. It's not even about Robinson Cano. That's the thing. Like, he's just old. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you have all of these young middle infielders, and you're not bringing any of them up? Probably you've drafted like 100 shortstops in like the last 3 years, it feels like. Like, let's see some of these guys just for a couple weeks. It doesn't, just to give them some, a little bit of like, hey, this is what the pros look like. Because I think it definitely helps when you come up real quick, okay, this is significantly harder. And then you go and you realize, some of those imperfections in your swing or in your stance or whatever, how much they affect you at the major league level when you're playing lower competition. They're not going to affect you as much. So I think there's a ton of value in that. And that's why I do hope Robinson Cano's gone sooner than later, because I want to see those guys get an opportunity.
Never thought we'd be ending a podcast or a live stream talking about Robinson Cano as Padre fans, right? I mean, that's kind of crazy. That area you're talking about, Chase, absolutely both. I'm not going to pin it on one sole guy because that was horrendous on both sides. I was like, dude, what the heck? Like, I mean, I didn't know how to react to it, but we won, luckily. So I was listening, I keep talking about this damn podcast I was listening to earlier. Kevin Acee was on it, and they asked him, what do you think about the Robinson Cano signing? What have they told you about it? And basically what they said was it provides them the opportunity to send down CJ Abrams. So when we were talking about it, I was talking about it. If they sign Robinson Cano to take out to send down CJ Abrams, that's a disservice. So now that's been clarified that essentially happened. And then they said, and it gets you a guy that's experienced. He's a veteran, and he'll get you a couple hits here and there, and he has power. And I was just thinking, dude, that is such a bad reason. And of course, you got him on a minimum. So I'm probably not as opposed to the signing as you guys are. Not that I like it. I don't think it's a good signing. But in a way, it doesn't really make sense. But I'm trying to make more sense of it. So I don't know. It's just I think he's gone by July. I really do. I mean, the only thing that's going to save him is relationship with Fernando. That's all I think.
All right, guys. I think that's all we got today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Oh, my God. This Naked at HD guy's back. I don't know if you guys noticed, anyone in the chat. He literally comes back with a new username every time, and he gets blocked with a new username every time. But, yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for today's episode. Tomorrow, going to be talking about Joe Musgrove, and then on Wednesday we're going to have an episode out about Ha-Seong Kim and, how he's just absolutely balled out to start the year. Dude, he's been the third best hitter. Crazy really to say that, but I would have never guessed him out of all the guys of who's going to be the third best hitter on this team. I also wouldn't have put Hosmer second, so I guess there's that too. But it's been a great start of the year so far. A couple guys really surprising in Ha-Seong Kim, Eric Hosmer. But yeah, I think this it's a fun team coming off of a good series. I am really looking forward to when Fernando is back because I think this team can be really good when he's here. So pumped for the rest of the year. But thank you guys for listening today. And we'll be back tomorrow talking about Joe Musgrove.